So we bought this little chicken coop off Amazon a couple of weeks ago. You know, our goal was to build one ourselves, and we probably will still build one eventually, a little bit bigger one, but you know, it's our first time having any chickens. So we were kind of, you know, not knowing exactly how everything needed to be set up. So we thought just buying a quick one off Amazon, putting it together would be the perfect way to get used to the idea of having chickens and see what we like and don't like about the chicken coop itself. So this one is, I think it was around 220, 210, 220, somewhere in there. That included free shipping. You can find it for 130, 140, somewhere in there, but you know, you're gonna pay 70, 80 bucks for shipping. So it doesn't really matter how you do it. Obviously they've got their own little yard here they can get out in and you know, kind of move around. They got their little nesting box they get in at night. And every night we come out, the chickens have already put themselves up in the roosting box. So we just come in and close the door. Guess it feels like they're home. And then every morning when we come out, they are so anxious to get out. We open the door again and they can get out into their little yard and go start finding bugs or whatever else they're gonna eat. They got their nesting box they can get in. None of ours are, you know, our chickens aren't old enough yet to lay eggs, but eventually, hopefully eventually we hope to get some eggs out of there. You know, and it is portable. It's got the little wheels here. Every morning we come here and pick it up with the handle, move it to a new spot in the yard. They definitely, you know, go through and pull up all any weeds, grass, whatever, they're gonna go through and eat it, and they're gonna dig up all the worms, any crickets, anything else in the yard. So we want to move them to a new spot every day. You know, the thing came in, I think, 2 boxes. They were fairly large, about 40 pounds each or so. I guess that's why they do 2 boxes. They didn't want to, you know, incur a penalty of having it be excessive weight. It was fairly easy assembly. The instructions made perfect sense. Everything was labeled. If you can put IKEA furniture together, you can put this together. It's no problem at all. I think we ended up using a drill to put the screws in. You could probably get away with just doing it with a screwdriver if you wanted to. I think a couple of the spots we had to use an angle drill driver, or you could probably get away with a screwdriver there too. But really, that's about all that we had to do to get it put together. It was really simple. Took maybe 45 minutes, an hour. We started off inside, moved our way outside as we started getting it put together, just so it'd be easier to move back here. It is, you know, you can see it's solid wood. We'll see how long it lasts. We've had it for about a week. So far, you know, nothing has gone wrong with it. It's been perfect. We actually put the chickens here where the dogs stay during the day. We figured that, you know, first the dogs barked at them like crazy, and now they're used to them. They don't care. But we figured if any predators came up, the dogs would maybe scare them off. We've got a lot of possums, raccoons, coyotes that, you know, wander around these parts. I'm sure there's some bobcats out here too, but we're trying to keep everything away from them for now. I don't know that anything could get through here. It's pretty sturdy. It's metal, you know, metal mesh fabric, so I don't think anything will be able to get through there. The only things that I would change on this, if I was to go back and, you know, fix it a little better, the latch here on this end, it could just easily be hit. So a raccoon or something come up and easily pop that up and be able to open that in. The rest of these, you have to, you know, they're a little more difficult. You know, you have to make a little concerted effort to get them open, but that end one seems to be like it would open really easy. And the wheels here on the end, they do work. They're a little bit small, so, you know, when I do lift it in the mornings, you have to lift it quite a bit to get it at an angle where the wheels hit the ground. So having some bigger wheels or some wheels that you could, you know, push down and make engage without having to lift it so high would be ideal too. So, you know, that's probably some modifications. But, you know, if you're interested in something like this, I'll put a link in the description. Go check it out. Overall, I think it's been a great first chicken house. We've got 3 in here right now. We know one of them's a rooster, so he's probably not going to be with us that much longer. But anyway, we've got a couple more in the brooder inside the the garage there. So we're gonna have a few more. We'll see how many females we get from there, and get the hens out here, and we'll eventually have us a laying stock of hens. And we'll probably go ahead and, if this thing really keeps going and works as good as it has been, we may just buy a second one. They do actually make a kit where you remove the handle and you can put them, you put 2 of them butt to butt and, make it a double wide coop. But again, we may try to build our own and see what we can do next time around. Anyway, when you guys built your first coop or bought your first coop, how did it work out? And I guess that's the first question. When you guys got your first coop, did you build it or buy it? And if you bought it, would you have bought it the same one again? And if you built it, what would you do different? I'd love to hear your comments. Thank you guys for watching.